ライン生命所属エレナ・ウビカ研究員です。ドクター、お会いできて光栄です。こちらではコードネームを使用するのですよね。ええ、問題ありません。ではアステジーニとお呼びください。簡単で覚えやすいですから。
Welcome back to another appointment, doctors. Today we're going to talk on the new 5-star Chaincaster alternative, and that is Astesia's sister, Astgenne. Chaincasters used to be known as the worst caster in the game, but thanks to the module system, this archetype becomes one of the best archetypes in the game despite their expensive deployment cost. Right now, Passenger is on top charts when it comes to the best caster in the game by the time this video is made. Astgenne is the newest addition to this archetype and introduced a new gameplay that other Chaincasters don't give, and that is multi-targeting. Not to be confused with her chain damage, Astgenne can target 2 enemies during her hit, and this allows her to damage 8 enemies at once. It's worth noting that her chain damage can attack the same enemy except the first one if you're attacking more than 2 enemies. It's hard to explain, so this drawing up here shows how Astgenne's damage work on 5 enemies. Basically, her second hit will not hit the first enemy in front of them unless Astgenne attacks only 2 enemies. If this is still confusing, just remember that Astgenne right now is the only Chaincaster that can attack the most enemy at once and able to hit the same target twice per attack. Astgenne's talent allows her to increase her attack speed every 15 seconds, and this stacks up to 5 times. Despite its very straightforward talent, this is great for Astgenne to increase her personal damage and slows your enemies more frequently. It's very vague, but this faint blue glow on her stick is an indicator when she gains maximum stack of her talent. Because it takes a while for Astgenne to gain her stacks, it is recommended to deploy her early so she can gain all of her stacks. Astgenne's DP cost is very expensive, so it's mandatory to use Flagpipe strategy, which consists standard barrier operators and bagpipe, and lately a new addition with Cantabile. As for Astgenne's module, it allows her to no longer have penalty whenever chain damage occurs. This module increases her attack and HP, and further upgrade her talent by decrease the stack wait time and add more stacks. This module is a great damage bump for Astgenne, so it's worth considering. The added attack speed is also a great addition for her DPS and slowing down enemies, but it's not as mandatory as her level 1 module. To put it simply, her second skill outperformed this skill in so many ways. The stored attack mechanic is nice, but there's very little reason to use it when her second skill does it better with reasonable skill point cost. To add it off, this skill's multiplier is very sad even at higher masteries, which fair enough, this translates to 250% attack if the chain hits the same enemy, but if you want more damage, you're better off using her second skill since the chain is far more consistent. I have to say though, if your Astgenne is below only 2, then this skill is more appealing because the 4-time chain damage is a skill built in targeting, while Chaincasters can only attack 3 enemies below only 2. Considering that this skill is an attack scaling modifier, this means incoming buffs won't diminish the value. But with that being said, this skill is still not worth the investment. Anyway, let's take a look on how it performs. Easily Astgenne's bread and butter. This skill has reasonable skill point cost and duration, making it more consistent to deal damage than her first skill. Attacking two targets also means the chain damage stacks, making her able to attack the same enemy twice. The expanded range also gives Astgenne more comfort to damage her enemies, making it easier for her to deal damage that provides a lot of AoE damage. If you ever want to invest on Astgenne, then this skill is the way to go. With that being said, let's take a look on the skill's performance. I think I can confidently say to you all that I am a Chaincaster Konsu. Aside of Passenger, who mind you is already a huge power spike at level 1 Module X, all of my Chaincasters have their module at maximum, including Astgenne herself. It's very difficult to see how her skill works on the first glance, so I need to do a lot of testing with her, which is why this video is a bit late. But after some testing, for me personally, the experience is similar to my expectation before I have her, to say the least. There are times where Leizi is a better pick, but there are also times where Astgenne is better than Leizi, assuming both are with their module. Let's take a look at this graph here. Both Leizi and Astgenne are using their second skill. We can see here that Astgenne's burst DPS is higher than Leizi, and that's because her skill can hit 8 enemies if we assume that she hits on different lane, resulting higher overall number. If she hits 2 enemies on the same lane, then she can only attack 7 times, resulting on slightly lower number. Despite this, Leizi's numbers are not that far off. And this is for obvious reasons, being that Leizi's skill has higher attack multiplier. This, however, if we assume that her target is not blocked, so if they are blocked, the numbers can be lower than this. For average DPS, Astgenne clearly wins, and Leizi's average DPS are not fixed because her module can react differently depending on the stage. Just for curiosity's sake, this is Leizi's average DPS if she keeps attacking 4 enemies until she reaches full SP. But let's be real, they both have different things to offer, being that Leizi is a burst-dependent chaincaster, while Astgenne trades that burst with more targeting and faster attack speed, allowing her to attack her enemies more frequently. In a lot of cases, you'll find Leizi's damage hurt more than Astgenne, especially that Astgenne's targeting can be a bit complicated, and not every single time that Astgenne can hit the same enemy with her dual chain. However, it's also worth considering that Leizi needs her module to be great, preferably level 2 module, while Astgenne doesn't. Contrary to popular belief that chaincasters need their module to be good, which by the way I said that before in my Amiya video, Astgenne's case is a little different. From my own experience at least, Astgenne without her module is already serviceable, and the reason is her attack speed talent. It's always worth noting that attack speed still adds more DPS even if your enemy has high defensive stats. This is the same with Astgenne since her attack speed made up for her low damage. Of course, there's damage gap for Astgenne with and without module, And even after what I just said, I still do recommend getting her module, but Astgenne's skill has lower skill point cost, which is already a big selling point than Leizi's. However, I personally favor Leizi over Astgenne since Leizi's adding slower movement speed from her module and her burst damage is more than enough to comfortably clean mobs. But again, Astgenne feels more flexible in the way that she feels more satisfying to use because faster attack, way better skill cycling time thanks to her shorter skill point cost, and finally, prettier animation. Astgenne's value in my opinion is in the middle, where she is very serviceable for a caster. I personally don't recommend you to build her if you have Leizi, but as a caster, she is serviceable and pretty solid actually. She is quite potent on what she does, so I still recommend you to build her regardless if you need more caster. Most 5-star casters have questionable values anyway, at least in my opinion, and Astgenne is one of the few that stands out and very practical out of the bunch. Before I end the video, I want to announce that I will be making guides without module the next time an operator gets released, which will start from Proviso. I will still mention the module with their numbers, and I will still make guides with module if I'm making guides on older operators, but I won't be doing so for newer operators since their module can be very hard to get to 100% and can take few days longer than Mastery 6. But I will still make short video regarding to Silver once I have their module built, and I'll give you my opinion whether you should invest on the module or not. And with that concludes our appointment. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider giving this video a like so this channel get more noticed by the algorithm. And if you don't want to miss out my videos, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in our next appointment. This is Neko signing out. Have a nice day and best of luck at hunting, Doctor.
Maybe I'm a little too shy, always trying to be the wise guy. The thought of you under the moonlight is running all over my mind.